Tonight's top stories. The impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte continues. The PhilHealth and a popular hospital have inked a memorandum of agreement, or MOA, on more accessible health services for Filipinos. The Philippine National Police, or PNP, draws inspiration to even do better, as a survey shows more Filipinos feel safer now, attributed greatly to the National Police's efforts. As if there was ever a shadow of doubt, Philippine tennis's greatest ever Alex Ayala achieves yet another historic milestone. All these and more on PTV News Tonight. Good evening. Welcome to PTV News Tonight. The impeachment trial of Vice President Sara Duterte enters its 18th day, focusing on the testimony of the Office of the Vice President, or OVP, Assistant Secretary and Assistant Chief of Staff Lemuel Ortonio. The Senate Impeachment Court declared Ortonio as a hostile witness based on his adverse interests vis-a-vis the respondent and the prosecution. Ortonio confirmed his involvement in overseeing the release, use, and liquidation of the OVP's funds, stressing there was no confidential funds when he assumed his office in July 2022. He added that former Vice President Leni Robredo had no confidential fund, which led to the OVP requesting it from the Department of Budget and Management through a letter. He also confirmed that the usage of confidential fund spending was not specified in the certification submitted by the OVP to the Commission on Audit. Ortonio admits having no knowledge of the actual usage of the OVP's confidential funds, but adds the Vice President knows everything about it based on his understanding. The impeachment trial is set to resume tomorrow, August 26, including the discussion on the possible violation of the sub judice rule. And in other news, the Senate Impeachment Court resumes the hearing of Article 1 on alleged misuse of confidentials, with its newly identified hostile witness taking the witness stand, who confirmed having seen no official receipts for medical supplies and food aid from the OVP's confidential fund. Bernard Ferrer gets us up to speed on day 18 of the proceedings.
I was not able to see, ma'am, any ORs.
That was a response of the Office of the Vice President, Assistant Chief of Staff, Lemuel Ortonio, when asked whether he had seen any official receipts for the purchase of medical supplies and food aid using confidential funds. Ortonio took the witness stand as a hostile witness in the hearing on Article 1 of the Articles of Impeachment, or alleged misuse of confidential funds.
Sa pangkalahatan, ang pagbili ng gamot at pagkain ay ginagawa sa regular na proseso. Pang-araw-araw. Ibig sabihin, bibili mula sa sources like drugstores, pharmacy, at ang bumibili naman ay i-issuehan ng karampatang official receipt. Tama ba?
Yes, bibili ka and then you are given a receipt.
At hindi mo na tinanong si Ms. Acosta at ang security officer na iyong nabanggit kung nasaan ang supposed official receipts bilang patunay na ito nga ay nabili, mga supplies na ito.
Ma'am, the explanation that was provided to me, ma'am, was that binigay po ang pera directly doon sa mga informants and agents, and the informants and agents na po yung bumili ng mga medical and food supplies. So, it's the acknowledgement receipt, which is the proof of the release of the funds to the informants or the agents.
In short, ang sinasabi mo, kahit si Ginang Acosta at ang Special Disbursing Officer, walang nahawakan kahit isa mang official receipt para sa supposed purchases na ito.
Ma'am, as to the exactness, ma'am, no, kung meron ba silang nahawakan na official receipt, that I cannot provide an answer.
He also admitted that he was the one who responded to the Audit Observation Memorandum or AOM issued to the Office of the Vice President dated September 14 and October 3, 2023, despite having no personal knowledge of the utilization of the confidential funds.
Alam ng Vice President, ma'am, that I do not know of anything.
Or that you do not have any personal participation, as you claim, doon sa paggastos ng confidential funds.
Yes, ma'am.
Gayunpaman, ikaw ang tinalaga ng Vice President na tumugon sa mga audit observation memoranda na bananggit mo. Tama ba?
Yes, ma'am.
Artonio confirmed that he submitted the Protective Intelligence Operation Reports or PIORS to the Commission on Audit as part of the OVP's response to the AOM. However, according to Artonio, he did not read the contents of the PIORS because they were already sealed when he submitted them to COA. He also admitted that he did not ask OVP Security Officer Colonel Raymond Lachica about the contents of the PIORS. Artonio also confirmed that based on OVP records, former Vice President and now Naga City Mayor Leni Robredo did not have confidential funds during her term. As a result, Vice President Sara Duterte requested confidential funds from the Department of Budget and Management in 2022.
Mr. Artonio, kinukumpirma mo rin na for the OVP's request for confidential funds, in this letter, walang computation na binigay. Tama ba?
That's correct. No
There was also no projection provided in the same letter. Tama ba?
Yes, that's correct.
And also, there was no physical and financial plan attached to the letter.
For this letter request,
Yes,
none.
none. In fact, there was no attachment supporting the OVP's request for confidential funds. Correct?
There were no attachments, ma'am.
Yes, there were no attachments in support of your request for confidential funds. Tama?
Yes, that's correct. No attachment.
And tama rin bang sabihin na ultimately, ang nag-decide kung magkano ang hihilingin na confidential funds from the DBM ay si Vice President Sara Duterte. Tama ba?
Yes, the determination
Yes.
for the amount
Thank you,
is
Mr. Artonio.
in the discretion of the Vice President.
Yes, thank you.
Among the programs identified for funding was a Good Governance Program, which already had an appropriation of 621 million pesos under the General Appropriations Act. Impeachment Court Presiding Officer Francis Jesus Cordero also noted the differences in Vice President Duterte's signatures on several documents. However, Artonio confirmed that all of them were the Vice President's signatures. Artonio also confirmed that he accompanied former OVP Special Disbursing Officer Gina Acosta when she encashed a check at Land Bank Show Boulevard in 2022. Bernard Ferrer for The Nation.
House Deputy Speaker Paulo Ortega V believes the camp of Vice President Sara Duterte is mulling a new tactic of shifting the blame toward the former OVP Security Officer Colonel Lachica. This as the impeachment trial moves forward with more testimonies, including those from former OVP Special Disbursing Officer Gina Acosta. Vel Custodio lays out the full report.
The prosecution is calling on the Office of the Ombudsman to look into whether Vice President Sara Duterte, Office of the Vice President or OVP Special Disbursing Officer Gina Acosta, and former Vice Presidential Security and Protection Group Head Colonel Raymond de la Chica were involved in the malversation of public funds.
Panawagan na rin ho namin sa Ombudsman na silipin na po nila kung mayroong aktual na malversation na nakumit si Ms. Acosta, si Mr. Lachica, Vice President Sara Duterte, dito po sa paggamit po ng confidential funds.
Meanwhile, the Armed Forces of the Philippines or AFP has completed its own inquiry on Colonel Lachica over the use of confidential funds by the OVP. The AFP has now deferred the investigation on Lachica to the Office of the Ombudsman. Although the prosecution panel is not yet considering issuing a subpoena against Lachica, the AFP says it is ready to coordinate should Lachica be called to testify before the impeachment court in the impeachment trial against the Vice President. Since October last year, Lachica has been placed on attached unassigned status at the Philippine Army headquarters.
That's the very reason why he is placed on attached unassigned status sa headquarters ng Philippine Army. So that in the event na he is called upon, the Armed Forces of the Philippines shows that we're really supporting and of course cooperating dito sa pag-conduct po ng investigation accordingly.
The palace, meanwhile, believes there is sufficient basis in the statement and evidence presented during the impeachment trial regarding the alleged misuse of confidential funds. According to Palace Press Officer and PCO Undersecretary Claire Castro, Vice President Duterte did not need to personally handle the money because she could have ordered its release. She also said the ombudsman should investigate La Chica's role in the implementation of the use of confidential funds. However, Castro stressed that the decision still rests with the senator judges and that evidence, not politics, should prevail to ensure due process and justice.
In a way, yes. Pagdating sa pagturo kay Vice Presidente, kay Colonel La Chica, na sila ang nagkontrol ng pondo para sa confidential funds.
In a statement, Colonel La Chica said that if lawfully called, he is prepared to tell the truth, subject to applicable laws and security restrictions. House Deputy Speaker Paulo Ortega V, meanwhile, said that based on the testimony of Gina Acosta, it appears that Vice President's camp may be shifting the blame as the impeachment trial moves forward.
Well established naman po na may utos po galing sa Vice President, nakuha na yung pera, na-release po yung pera, pero parang ang tema po nila, yung itong mga nakarang araw is parang may nilalaglag sila eh. May nilalaglag sila eh. At parang ang dating sa mga statements nila, parang ang nilalaglag nila si security officer, si Colonel La Chica. Kasi paulit-ulit nila minimension yung pangalan nila, parang nag-hands off sila, naghuhugas kamay. Pero paano nila i-escape yung accountability yung mga disbursing officer, inutusan naman at saka binigyan ng authority ng Vice President.
Ridon also insists that Acosta and La Chica were not the root of the alleged misuse of confidential funds.
Ang pinakadulo, ang may original sin dito sa bagay na ito, hindi si Gina Acosta, hindi si La Chica, si Vice President Sara Duterte, dahil siya mismo yung pong nag-utos na ibigay ang 125 million mula kay Gina Acosta, papunta ko po kay Mr. La Chica.
Meanwhile, the prosecution is targeting to complete its direct examination of its witnesses before the end of October. Val Custodio for The Nation.
Based on those who took the witness stand thus far on the articles of impeachment on the misuse of confidential or intelligence funds, there is abundant reason to believe probable cause on the vice president totally in control and having full discretion on her office's confidential funds and its disbursement after its withdrawal from the bank. The office of the vice president's special disbursement officer, Gina Acosta, and today's hostile witness who took the witness stand both admit the instructions and orders how they proceeded came from the head of the agency or the vice president. It is clear the vice president is or was the puppet master controlling the strings from afar. So says Palace Press Officer and PCO Undersecretary Claire Castro, who also weighed in on Colonel Raymond La Chica needing to sit on the witness stand and answer questions. Then again, the bottom line is the fate of the vice president, which rests on the hands of the senator judges and not nearly as much on the abundance of evidence. And in other news, one's financial capacity or lack thereof should not get in the way of receiving urgent medical treatment. That could spell the difference between life and transition to the netherworld. So says the president in presiding over the inking of a deal between PhilHealth and the super pricey St. Luke's Hospital in Bonifacio Global City for wider access to medical services and treatment, especially on enforcing a copay for PhilHealth members seeking a confinement in St. Luke's basic accommodation ward. Our Kenneth Pasyente fills us in with more.
Hindi dapat maging hadlang ang kakulangan sa pera para makakuha ng kinakailangan atensyong medikal.
That was the point emphasized by President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. during his witnessing of the Memorandum of Agreement signing between PhilHealth and St. Luke's Medical Center Global City, aimed at making medical services more accessible to Filipinos. Under the partnership, St. Luke's and PhilHealth will help eligible members maximize their PhilHealth benefits and enable a more seamless access to necessary medical services. This specifically covers the implementation of the no co-payment policy for its members admitted to basic accommodation or ward.
Kahit na yung dati na yung hindi nakakapunta sa private hospital kagaya ng St. Luke's ay matutulungan na makapunta dito at bibigyan natin ng suporta na galing yung kagaya ng dati sa PhilHealth, sa DOH at kung minsan kahit sa Office of the President. Pero ito ay para hindi na matatakot ang mga nagkakasakit na pumunta sa private hospital dahil walang silang pambayad.
Under the PhilHealth's no co-payment policy, patients admitted to basic or ward accommodation should no longer pay the additional out-of-pocket costs, provided their services and medicines are covered by PhilHealth. The President pointed out this does not mean that patients who go to private hospitals can automatically afford the cost of treatment. Rather, they may need access to these facilities because of the specialized expertise and services needed for their recovery. The President said this is the government's way of addressing such need.
For a patient, this can mean less time worrying about whether treatment is within reach, more time focusing on getting better. For a family, it can mean relief from the fear that one medical emergency can consume their savings or force them to choose between treatment and other basic needs. And for our healthcare system, it means bringing together the strengths of the public and private sectors to better serve more Filipinos.
The President also urged all hospitals across the country to strengthen the implementation of the Universal Healthcare Law so those in need are not denied essential medical services simply because of financial constraints. At the same time, the President assured that the government will carry out its programs to ease the financial burden on Filipinos, including the hugely popular zero balance billing, the Yakap and Gamot programs, among others. Kenneth, Pasyente for the Nation.
A surge of leptospirosis in the last 2.5 weeks has swamped the Philippine General Hospital, San Lazaro Hospital, and the National Kidney and Transplant Institute, with an overflow of patients seeking treatment from a highly infectious, even lethal rodent-borne disease. Thus, the PGH and the NKTI have come to a concurrence to properly coordinate and straighten out referral protocols of patients to avert overcrowding from here on. Our Vincent Elijah Canlas has more.
Amid rising leptospirosis cases from recent floods, the Philippine General Hospital or PGH and the National Kidney Institute or NKTI have strengthened coordination to streamline referral protocols and ease emergency room overcrowding. PGH will accept transferred non-leptospirosis patients, while NKTI regulates walk-ins to prioritize urgent kidney care and dialysis. NKTI has recorded 48 cases with 45 patients on dialysis and 7 deaths, 2 from multiple organ failure. Dr. Arlene Lamban-Crozon of NKTI assured that the hospital has sufficient manpower for the influx.
Ang doctors at nurses, meron naman po kaming supplies at ang NKTI ho ay lagi namang handa. Yung mga blood, we always encourage naman na sana blood donors, meron tayong marami para just in case we need it, meron tayong tinatawag kasing blood bank. So when we need it, available po sila.
PGH reaffirmed its partnership with NKTI to ensure timely patient care. Dr. Lamban-Crozon urged the public not to ignore early symptoms like fever, yellowing eyes, and body aches.
Ang gusto ko ipaalala ng NKTI is leptospirosis po ay nape-prevent. Nape-prevent po yan, pwedeng iwasan. At ang mild cases, nagagamot po yan. Kaya as early as pag meron na kayong mga simptomas, pumunta na po kayo sa inyong mga clinics, sa inyong mga malapit na barangay health centers, para ho kayo ay magamot na. Huwag nyo na pong hintayin na malala na.
Free doxycycline prophylaxis is available via PhilHealth Yakap and Yaman ng Kalusugan programs as NKTI remains on high alert. Under PhilHealth Circular Number 2026-0008, standard hospitalization coverage increased from 21,450 pesos to 63,000, while severe cases receive 170,000 pesos to 411,000 pesos. Severe leptospirosis treatment in DOH and PhilHealth accredited facilities qualifies for zero balance billing. Malacanang assured government support following Metro Manila's recent floods. PCO Undersecretary Claire Castro confirmed the patient management agreement to address NKTI's full bed capacity.
Nagkaroon po ng ang PGH na statement na sila po ay tutulong kung kinakapos po talaga ng espasyo or bed capacity ang NKTI. Nandiyan po ang PGH at kung may mga pasyente na hindi naman nagsasuffer ng leptospirosis, maaari naman silang lumipat sa PGH. So, makikipagtulungan po ang PGH sa NKTI.
Elijah Canlas for The Nation.
It is no secret the president is such a huge advocate or crusader for renewable energy and the machines that run on them, hoping to completely wean the country from its dependence on fossil-based fuel and automobiles powered by the internal combustion engine, as our Marco Sadia reports.
The parts and components of vehicles manufactured at this site in Caloocan City, who would have thought they are sold and shipped to other countries? A proof that Filipino-made products are world-class. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. visited this factory where 3 companies operate. One of them manufactures components for civilian and military jeeps, which are sold in the United States and Europe. President Marcos said the visit is aimed at supporting the local manufacturing industry and to see how the government can further help the country develop its own electric vehicles and e-jeeps.
Ano yung nandito na, ano na yung mga kulang, ano pa yung mga kulang na susuportahan ng ating DOST ng national government para makapaggawa na tayo ng electric vehicle dito sa Pilipinas para mabawasan ang dependence on petroleum mga products. Sa ganung paraan ay magiging mas stable ang ating ekonomiya at ang hanap buhay ng lalong-lalo na yung mga kasama natin na nagpapasada.
With support from the Department of Science and Technology or DOST, the company is targeting to produce an electric tricycle like this one by next year. It is environment-friendly, producing no emissions, and is expected to be more cost-effective as it does not rely on petroleum products which remain expensive.
Maganda ito kasi unang-una kapag dito natin ginawa ang electric vehicle, yung after-sale service mabilis, kasi nandito na yung gumagawa. At napaka-importante na mas maraming trabaho ang pwede nating ibigay sa ating mga kababayan.
The DOST already provided the company with 2 million pesos in funding support. This could be increased to 5 million pesos or more under the agency's program that provides assistance to businesses in need of modern technology.
Ang tulong ng Department of Science and Technology dito ay magbigay tayo ng powder coating technology na napapaganda at napapabilis ang pagpuproduce ng ganito mga parts na in-export.
Dati wet paint lang ginagamit namin, but thanks to DOST, nakaset up kami ng powder coating dito.
The company currently produces more than 1,000 vehicle parts every day, and it is targeting to double that output by next year. To achieve this, the DOST also pledged to increase the factory's electrodeposition capacity, a process that applies a protective coating to steel vehicle parts to help prevent corrosion.
Para bumaba ang presyo, para mas maging affordable ng ating mga kababayan.
Marco Sadi for The Nation.
The Philippine National Police or PNP welcomed the latest Octa research survey showing that more Filipinos feel safe in their surroundings even at night, while also acknowledging the contribution of other stakeholders. Ryan Lesigas has more on the numbers of this survey.
The work being done by the Philippine National Police or PNP appears to be bearing fruit. This is based on the latest survey conducted by Octa Research, which showed that more Filipinos say they feel safe. Based on the survey, 72% of Filipinos say they feel safe in their surroundings. Some 62% meanwhile say they are not afraid to walk at night. while 54% believe they are not afraid of thieves and snatchers because of the presence of police officers.
Hindi lamang po ito gawa ng ating kapulisan, ito po ay gawa ng lahat ng kasamahan natin, sa LGU, ang mga local officials, and other agencies, and of course, yung mismong komunidad po natin na napakaganda po ang pinapakita sa ating tiwala at pakikipagtulungan para po ma-achieve natin itong mas feeling po natin na mas safe tayo as mas sa ating pong mga komunidad.
Despite this, the PNP said it will not become complacent. The police force said it will further improve its efforts to make its presence more felt by the public. This is particularly in areas where crimes are still being reported.
Wala po tayong sinasabi dito unang-una, nais ko paalala, wala po tayong sinasabi walang nangyayaring krimen. Nangyayari po ang krimen. Meron pong nangyayari. Pero ano po ang ginagawa natin? Agad po natin inaaksyonan at agad natin nire-resolve itong mga krimen na ito.
The survey was conducted from July 4 to 11 with around 1,200 adult respondents.
Lalo pong pinaigting ang gagawin naming pagpapatulya. Hindi po tayo titigil dito. So to speak, we will not rest on our laurels.
It may be recalled that in the survey results released by Octa Research yesterday, the PNP was also named the most trusted and best performing agency in the second quarter of 2026. The PNP received a 65% trust rating. Meanwhile, it posted a 63% performance rating. Ryan Lesiges for The Nation.
The Philippine National Police said it hasn't received any copy or resolution regarding the decision of the Department of Justice or DOJ to file charges against the policewoman who owns the gun that was used by a child in conflict with the law. This in connection with the school shooting incident at San Jose National High School in Tacloban, Leyte last June 22. According to PNP spokesperson Police Colonel Alan Reyco, the PNP sees this as a welcome development, highlighting the case to serve as a reminder for police officers and other gun owners regarding the proper safekeeping of firearms. Caused stress that regardless of having no intention for the firearm to be used in the said incident, the policewoman will be held accountable over her negligence as a gun owner. The spokesperson assured there will be due process and that the involved officer will be given the chance to be heard. Among the charges to be filed as recommended by the court are reckless imprudence resulting to multiple homicide and physical injuries. The president knows full well the tremendous and powerful influence gaming apps have on juvenile users and minors. Hence, he is all for the absolute shutdown of access to such apps, most of which are the daily staple play of kids, teenagers, and adolescents. I have more in this report. Non-stop watching of videos and playing online games was all Jasmine's child used to do. It was fine at first, but she soon noticed a major change in her daughter.
Una nagwawala, tapos nananakit. Tapos yung unti-unti hindi lang siya sa behavior kundi sa kung paano lumalaki yung bata. Yung di nagsasalita.
That's when Jasmine decided to ban her child from using a cell phone. The child is now 6 years old.
Binaban ko siya sa phone, tapos more on magkaroon ng time sa kanya. Para malibang, hindi na siya masyado nagtatantrums. Hindi na siya nananakit.
Amid violence linked to some digital platforms, President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. says he is open to banning or suspending online sites that could harm children.
Sa lahat maaaring gaming apps, lahat ng pwedeng masabing makakasira sa ating mga kabataan at sa bansa natin, open po ang Pangulo na matanggal ang lahat ng yan.
Malacanang made the statement following a recommendation from the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center, or CICC, to block the website that live-streamed the shooting of a student at a private school in Zamboanga City. According to the CICC, authorities reported the live stream to Meta 5 minutes after it was detected. But the video remained online for another 9 minutes before it was finally removed and was also reshared by some netizens. Authorities have also turned their attention to Roblox, which has been linked to 2 students who opened fire in Tacloban.
Kung hindi magkakaroon ng accountability ang anumang social media platform at para nababaliwala ang ating mga hiling para maproteksyonan ang ating mga kababayan laban sa karahasan, laban sa fake news. Kung mabagal ang pagtugon, magandang pag-isipan at pag-aralan kung dapat silang manatili na parte ng ating sistema.
In an increasingly digital world, Alvin closely monitors the website's access by his 3 children. While he worries about violent content, he says social media remains important as he mainly uses it to get information.
Nandun na lahat eh. May bagyo, yan. Katulad nga, yun nga, informasyon. Kung may pasok o wala. Tapos kung ano nga yung nangyayari sa atin. Yung komunikasyon, lalo na yun, number 1 yun.
The CICC is urging parents to closely monitor their children's behavior and keep the lines of communication open.
Pangalawa ho, pag may mga nakakausap at nakakasalamuha na sila online na hindi naman natin kakilala, ang particular na dapat natin bantayan na to, they stay up late at night because of the time difference. Kasi mga groomers usually from other countries, iba yung time zone nila. Yes.
This is Sharm Zespina for The Nation. President Ferdinand R. Marcos Jr. has submitted to the Commission on Appointments the interim appointments of 2 armed forces of the Philippines flag officer nominees for confirmations. The nominees are Captain Michael Barrion for the rank of Commodore and Commodore Raul Rehis for the rank of Rear Admiral. Anyone who wishes to file an objection may contact the Commission on Appointments or personally visit its office in Pasay City. When times are tough, a helping hand can go a long way. For disadvantaged and displaced workers, the government continues to provide opportunities to earn through the Department of Labor and Employment's TUPAD program, offering emergency employment and much-needed support to Filipino families. As we hear from our Elijah Canlas.
The Department of Labor and Employment or DOLE continues to implement the Tulong Panghanap Buhay sa ating disadvantaged or displaced workers or widely known as TUPAD. It is an official emergency employment program established during Typhoon Ondoy to provide immediate relief to individuals affected by disasters. Rather than just making an announcement, the department actively deployed and profiled approximately 13,000 beneficiaries for various interagency convergence initiatives. This includes cleaning schools with DepEd for Brigada Eskwela, packing relief goods with DSWD, and planting trees with DENR. Under the program, salaries are based on the prevailing minimum wage for 10 to 90 workdays. Members are also required to wear personal protective equipment, or PPE, such as boots and hand gloves for their safety and security. For Rainiel Bernardino, who has been a TUPAD member for over a year, the program provides critical support amidst low tricycle earnings.
Malaking tulong naman po kasi kahit papaano yung sinahod naman po sa TUPAD na naibigay na naitulong naman sa pamilya. Pangalan po ng mga anak, pambaot po.
To guide aspiring applicants, DOLE Bureau of Workers with Special Concerns Director 4, Leilani Reynoso, explained the authorized offices to approach.
Sa mga munisipyo po namin, municipality level, kadalasan po, meron po kami mga public employment service office, mga PESO managers o PESO officers po doon. Pwede po doon lumalapit kadalasan yung mga nais maging TUPAD beneficiaries.
Director Reynoso also clarified that the program charges no fees and implements no salary deductions.
Wala pong binabayaran. Wala pong binabayaran para maging miyembro ka o maging TUPAD beneficiary ka. Ang nangyari po, pinoprofile ka para maging TUPAD beneficiaryo ka at pag nagtrabaho ka po doon sa corresponding na araw na nakalista sa kontrata mo, ikaw ang nakakatanggap ng sahod. Ganun po yun. Tapos wala rin pong pagbabawas sa sahod.
She also emphasized that TUPAD is an official cash for work program and not free government financial aid. Elijah Canlas for The Nation.
The Energy Department has launched two major initiatives, Brigada Contra Jumper and the expanded Waste-to-Energy program to address illegal electricity connections and the country's solid waste disposal and management problem. Through the eGov PH mobile app, the public is encouraged to directly report suspicious electricity connections and power theft, so these can be immediately addressed by the task force formed with various government agencies. Apart from this, the DOE has raised the target capacity for the upcoming waste-to-energy auction in October to 400 megawatts. The program is expected to provide a baseline source of electricity while also reducing the tons of waste that contribute to severe flooding. When it comes to putting food on the table, every little step counts. And in a sign of better days ahead, the number of Filipino families experiencing hunger has declined, according to the latest Social Weather Stations or SWS survey. The full story from our Carlo Luis Candelaria.
In the second quarter social weather survey conducted by the Social Weather Stations or SWS this year, the number of Filipino families who experienced hunger in the past 3 months was recorded to have declined. According to the latest data from the SWS, 20.3% of families experienced involuntary hunger in June, lower than the 23.2% hunger rate recorded in March. The hunger rate also declined in Metro Manila, Balance Luzon, and the Visayas. The biggest decline was recorded in the Visayas, where the hunger rate fell from 28% in March to 22.3% in June. The survey was conducted from June 20 to June 29 through face-to-face surveys with more than 1,000 individuals aged 18 and above. It may be recalled that poverty incidence in the country also declined in 2025 to 9.7%, according to data from the Philippine Statistics Authority, lower than the 15.5% recorded in 2023. According to DSWD Assistant Secretary Irene Dumlao, this shows that the government programs are being implemented and are being felt by Filipinos.
But napakahalaga nito para sa amin kasi yung mga programa kagaya ng Pantawid Pamilyang Pilipino Program, Walang Gutom Program, Sustainable Livelihood Program at gayon din yung assistance to individuals in crisis situation ay nakakapag-contribute sa pagbaba ng kahirapan sa ating bansa. Alam naman natin, Yusek Marge and Joshua, that poverty is multidimensional. Kaya kinakailangan na tugunan natin yung pangangailangan ng bawat sektor, particularly of the poor, vulnerable, and the marginalized.
Under the Walang Gutom program, qualified households receive 3,000 pesos per month loaded onto cards that can only be used to purchase nutritious food. There are also Walang Gutom kitchens that serve free breakfast and lunch to anyone experiencing hunger. The Kadiwa ng Pangulo program also continues to offer 20 peso per kilo rice and affordable food products, providing families with another way to save on their daily expenses. According to ASEC Dumlao, the survey results show that the government's efforts to expand access to food for more families are having a positive impact.
And of course, alam naman natin na yung kagutuman nakakaapekto sa productivity and performance ng mga bata and of course ng mga adults, lalong-lalong na sa kanilang pagtatrabaho o paghahanap buhay. Kaya meron tayong Walang Gutom program na namumuhunan naman at nagbibigay ng food assistance or tumutulong na maglagay ng pagkain sa hapagkainan ng mga mahihirap nating mga kababayan para ma-address naman yung food insecurity.
Carlo Candelaria for The Nation.
The Tulong Panghanap Buhay sa Ating Disadvantaged or Displaced Workers or TUPAD program has profiled 13,709 current beneficiaries for initiatives in Brigada, Escuela, and disaster-affected areas. This according to DOLE Bureau of Workers with Special Concerns Director Leilani M. Reynoso. The official highlighted that the program was first conceptualized during Typhoon Ondoy when immediate aid was urgently needed. Since then, TUPAD has evolved into an official employment program of the Department of Labor and Employment. TUPAD currently operates in convergence with various agencies such as DepEd during Brigada Escuela, DSWD for packing relief goods and assisting with the Kadiwa ng Pangulo, and the DNR tree planting deployment when needed. Director Reynoso reiterated that TUPAD is a cash for work program and not financial aid from the government. Compensation is based on the minimum wage multiplied by the number of days worked, with program durations ranging from 10 to 90 days. During Radyo Pilipinas' Mark-In, Mark-Out interview, Reynoso detailed the process for aspiring beneficiaries in the municipality level.
Po namin, municipality level, kadalasan po, meron po kami mga public employment service office, mga peso managers o peso officers po doon. Pwede po doon lumalapit kadalasan yung mga nais maging tupad beneficiaries. So, magpapalista lang po, ilista po, kung pasok po sila doon sa kwalipikasyong binanggit ko kanina na marginalized, vulnerable, o displaced workers. Tapos, pag nagpalista po doon, meron pong profile kasi na pinifill upan and then bine-verify at binavalidate po namin ulit ito ng DOLE, ng Department of Labor and Employment, katuwang po ang aming mga tupad coordinators.
Stay tuned for more stories that matter. Don't go anywhere.
Disaster Watch. Alamin ang mga dapat ilagay sa go bag bilang paghahanda sa sakuna. Maglagay ng tubig na maiinom at mga pagkaing hindi madaling masira. Maglaan ng espasyo para sa first aid kit at survival kit para sa mga hindi inaasahang pangyayari. Huwag kalimutan ang toiletries para mapanatili ang kalinisan ng katawan. Samahan din ng mga damit at beddings na magtatagal ng ilang araw. At para ligtas at may alam, magdala ng mga teknikal na gamit. Sa panahon ng kalamidad, dapat laging listo. Makibahagi sa iba't ibang kwento ng mga Pilipino.
Dagdag pa napasanin ni Mang Carlo ang kanyang gamot o maintenance na halos mahigit 20,000 piso.
Lagi ako nagdadasal na sa bawat entabladong sasampahan ko, huwag niya akong pababayaan.
Makinig sa iba't ibang boses at pananaw.
Na hindi patas ang lipunan.
Leadership starts from the top.
Maging bukas sa iba't ibang perspektiba sa mga isyong pambayan.
Good governance, because good governance is a matter of right.
Tataka ang karamihan, paano nila nakukuha yung mga numbers?
Kanino ba talaga nag-umpisa yung mga problema na yan sa flood control projects?
At matuto sa iba't ibang karanasan.
Yung hirap talaga yung pag tumaas ang dagat, yun ang hirap sa mga bata.
Ito ang mga premyado at award-winning na programa ng PTV Public Affairs. Kabahagi sa bawat buhay at kwento ng Pilipino.
The shooters who pulled the trigger in the Tacloban and Zamboanga City mass shootings may have been acting or playing their part for the audience of one. As in one internationally based group of criminal manipulators or online groomers who twist the minds of helpless innocent juveniles and bend them according to their evil plans. A group NBI Chief Melvin Matibag stumbled on online in the aftermath of the Tacloban shooting that our Sheila Natividad covers in this report.
The online groomers behind the school shooting incidents in Tacloban and Zamboanga City involving minors may be part of a single international group or network that targets and manipulates minors online. The National Bureau of Investigation, or NBI, discovered an international group chat with thousands of members. Director Melvin Matibag said that the group includes foreigners, but many of its members are Filipinos.
So yung groomers na to, in fact, sa Tacloban pa lang, nakita na ng NBI ito eh. So nakita na namin, sinusundan namin to, and we already have an initial reports noon na mauulit pa't may mangyayari. At nangyari nga. And we know that in the next few months, meron ulit sila pang pinaplano. It's just unfortunate, napasok namin yung group chat nitong mga to, but nag-collapse yung group na yan for some reason.
A According to Matibag, the shootings may not be live-streamed on social media unless there is a groomer watching or directing the minor involved. The NBI also suspects that the acts of violence committed by minors at the direction of an adult or groomer may form part of an initiation process similar to those found in some fraternities. The reward, according to the NBI, may include promotion or a higher status within the group.
Meron pang tinuturo na meron silang tenets, may parang Bible sila na pag nagawa mo to, mapupromote ka, may group ka inaalagaan. Pag nagawa mo naman to, ang thinking, if this is doon sa group na to, itong sa Zamboanga, I'm not saying ito, pagkatapos mong gawin yung task na yun at pinatay mo yung sarili mo, you will be elevated to sainthood.
An earlier hearing of the Senate Committee on Women, Children, Family Relations and Gender Equality in July also revealed the existence of an international network allegedly involved in grooming minors. Congress is also studying the proposed Social Media Safety Act, which would prohibit children aged 12 and below from accessing social media. Under the proposal, those aged 13 to 18 would only be allowed to access social media platforms with parental consent and the supervision of a legal guardian. The NBI, together with the Cybercrime Investigation and Coordinating Center or CICC and other government agencies, continues to investigate the school shooting incidents to establish what happened and determine the possible involvement of online groomers.
We were conducting a parallel investigation of what happened to Ateneo de Zamboanga. No? We're reviewing the CCTV footages para magkaroon ng linaw. And tomorrow I'll be flying to Singapore to have a meeting with Meta. Yung mga taga-Meta, this is high-level meeting, no? Meta from the US, yung mga officials nila, and for the Asian region, will be attending that meeting. And I will ask those questions, ano? It's the whole community approach. Lahat tayo dapat. Government, family, then the school, the church, everyone. Let's help each other bago ito lumala ng todo.
Sheila Natividad, for The Nation.
While the Vice President's impeachment trial proceeded on its 18th day of hearing at the Senate, over at the House of Representatives, the House Budget Committee hearings resumed with the Department of National Defense and the Office of the Ombudsman presenting their proposed allocations for next year. The DND is seeking close to 325 billion pesos for its operations and activities next year, a 10.3% uptick from this year's outlay. Among the programs and projects the DND vows to flesh out next year include a ramping up of the AFP's modernization with the help of 50 billion for the reinforcement of the country's national security and territorial integrity. Meanwhile, the Office of the Ombudsman seeks an endowment of 7.23 billion pesos for next year, citing a 65% Sandigan Bayan conviction rate to justify its increased outlay. The Budget Committee hearings are still on to accommodate all the agencies scheduled for today, to include the Department of Housing Services and Urban Development, or DSUD, and the Commission on Audit, or COA. The prosecution from the Office of the Ombudsman filed a motion requesting the voluntary inhibition of Associate Justice Ronald Moreno from the malversation case filed against former Senator Bong Revilla. This in relation to an alleged flood control project in Pandi, Bulacan. As stated in the motion, the prosecution emphasized it is not imputing Moreno of bad faith or improper motive. However, it was cited that Moreno allegedly exhibited prejudgment against their witnesses for the presentation of evidence during the bail hearing and main trial. Being among those who voted in favor of Revilla's bail request for the said case, Moreno stressed that he is not afraid and will stand firm by his decision. PTV has yet to receive a response and reaction as requested from the Sandigan Bayan 3rd Division. The Department of Labor and Employment Cordillera successfully conducted a payout for beneficiaries of the Tulong Panghanap Buhay sa Ating Disadvantaged or Displaced Workers or TUPAD program. The assistance is aimed at helping workers who are temporarily unemployed, have lost their livelihoods, or do not have sufficient income. Our Christine Bernolia Sabaway of PTV Cordillera lays out more details in this report.
Beneficiaries of programang Tulong Panghanap Buhay sa Ating Disadvantaged Displaced Workers o TUPAD of the Doli Cordillera have successfully received their payouts just recently. Judy from Flora Apayao is one among the beneficiaries who receive her cash.
Judy Gloria from Province Flora Apayao. Thank you so much, AD Flora and Tupad Program. Nagyaman kami ti ato dito nga Tupad Program kaya ato iti akil na tulong ka na kami lalo na nakitika sa ulat pinamdaw mga akil na ito'y labanag parang nagkakabi.
Romel Miranda from Malayugan, Flora Apayao also expresses gratitude to the government through the Tupad program.
Maraming salamat po sa Dole at sa LGU Flora at naging beneficiary po ako ng Tupad. Gagamitin ko po ito para sa
According to the Dole Cordillera, more than 23,000 beneficiaries in the region have benefited from the program as of the latest data this year. Most beneficiaries were from the province of Abra, which has more than 7,000 individuals, followed by the province of Benguet and Mountain Province, which has at least more than 4,000 each. Meanwhile, more than 2,000 beneficiaries in the province of Kalinga have benefited from the program. Through the program, financial assistance is being given to individuals who are jobless, seeking jobs, and those who have yet to be hired from the company or office they have applied for. Dole assured the public that beneficiaries were screened and validated before availing the program. This guarantees that individuals who are listed in the program are really part of the target population. Christine Bornolia Sabaway for The Nation.
We'll now give you the latest buzz here at Pop Culture Corner. First up, One Piece is set to expand its franchise with two new films, God Valley and Bad. God Valley is scheduled for release in 2027, while Bad is set to follow in 2029. God Valley will explore the God Valley incident, which involved the Rock's pirates, Roger Pirates, Marines, and world nobles 38 years ago. The One Piece franchise follows Monkey D, Luffy, and the Straw Hat Pirates as they search for the legendary treasure One Piece, with a live-action series third season and the new anime The One Piece also set for 2027. K-pop group NCT 127 has released its seventh full-length album, Blingy, on August 24th, marking the group's 10th debut anniversary. The 9-track album features the title track, Blingy, a hip-hop song with distorted synth sounds, along with a pre-release track, Piñata. NCT 127, which debuted in 2016, now has 7 members after Johnny, Taeyong, Yuta, Doyoung, Jaehyun, Jungwoo, and Haechan renew their contracts with SM Entertainment. Doyoung and Jungwoo are currently serving their mandatory military duty. Another historic milestone for Filipina tennis star Alex Ayala after climbing to a career-high world number 18 in the latest WTA rankings. Ayala moved up 2 spots from number 20 to become the highest-ranked Southeast Asian women's tennis player in history. She surpassed the previous record of world number 19 achieved by Indonesian star Yayuk Basuki and Thailand's Tamarin Thanasugarn. Basuki reached her career-high ranking in October 1997 after making the Wimbledon quarterfinals and reaching the second round of the U.S. Open that same year. Thanasugarn also climbed to world number 19 in May 2002 and went on to win 4 singles and 8 double titles in her career. Ayala will look to use her new career high as extra motivation in her U.S. Open campaign, where she hopes to surpass her best Grand Slam result, a 4th-round finish at Wimbledon earlier this year. Before her singles campaign, Ayala will team up with Canadian Felix Auger-Aliassime in mixed doubles, where they will face tennis couple Gail Monfils and Elina Svitolina in the opening round. Gilas Pilipinas will have no naturalized player in its upcoming 2 games in the FIBA Basketball World Cup Asian qualifiers. Justin Brownlee will miss the current window due to multiple injuries, while Benny Boatwright's naturalization remains unfinished, as he has yet to secure his Filipino passport. Meanwhile, Ange Kwame will also be unavailable as he is currently under contract in France. As a result, Gilas will field an all-Filipino lineup in its games against Jordan on Friday and Iran on Sunday. Despite the absence of a naturalized player, head coach Tim Cone remains confident in the team's firepower, especially with the return of Kai Soto alongside Junmar Fajardo and AJ Edu. Cone also believes Gilas has enough size to stay competitive in the two crucial matchups as the Philippines looks to improve its current 2-4 win-loss record. And before we end our newscast, please do take the time to like, subscribe, or share PTV's social media pages flashing on your screen right about now. It would go a long way and we would truly appreciate it. And so goes PTV News Tonight's roundup of tomorrow's headline stories. I'm Sharms Espina. Join us again tomorrow on PTV News Tonight.